Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge the Lines Forever. Today I have a 4v4 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with the Team 1 here in the northeast corner of the map, ending with Team 2 in the southwest. Starting off with the frontline player for Team 1, it is the Regal Purple player of Blood Ear. He is going first land as a UEF. Very sensible man, that Blood Ear. And again, he is a 2600 on the front lines for Team 1. To his northwest in Glow in the Dark. Yep, that is Glow in the Dark green. It is Knocked going first land as an Aeon. He is a 2000 rated player. And again, he is in Glow in the Dark green. To his northeast is Wounded Elk Noob going first land in Barbie pink. He is an 1800 and he is also an Aeon. And to his west, another UEF player for Team 1. It is Zeratu going first land again as a UEF in Pac-Man Yellow, and he is also a 1800. So for Team 1 side of things, there are 2 UEF and 2 Aeon, no Cybern or Seraphim to speak of. In the southwest, starting off with the frontline player of Team 2, it is Terrari going first land as another UEF. UEF very heavily featured in this cast. He's going first land. He is in Stitch Blue, and he is a 2300. And to his his southeast, I'll move this little icon so I can see better. We have the Royal Blue player of Auto Noob going first land as the first Cybern in this game, and he is an 1800. And in the southwest, the first Seraphim of the game, and on Team 2, it is Triath going first land as, like I said, a Seraphim, a 2200. In Imperial Gray. And last but not least for Team 2, moving eastward, is Pink Fluffy Noob. He is in Laddish Red Pink. He's going first land and second air as another UEF in this game. And he is a 2000. So for Team 2 side of things, they have 2 UEF, a Cybern, and a Seraphim. No Aeon to speak of. All the races do make an appearance in this game, except Team 2 does not have access to Aeon, and Team 1 does not have access to Cybern or Seraphim. Let's take a look at the reclaim so far. Currently still on the map, we have 8, well, I think that's 6,000, not 8,000. 6,460, so probably about 6.5, maybe 7, but probably not 7. So that's what, trying to do mental math in my head. 8, 3, 5, 750, about 700 or so per player. That's not a whole lot for players to scoop up, but again, something is better than nothing. But what lacks in reclaim is made up for in the amount of mass points in this map. There is a metric ton of mass points on the southeast and northwest corners of the map. They aren't really, not very closely knit together. There's just one everywhere, and that's a lot of mass. Let's see, not counting this. Well, we'll count this one. 1, 2, 3. I think I added about 20 or so that are essentially in contention. I would assume about here would be about the middle point, but it will probably be a lot of back and forth here on that southeast side. Again, same with the northwest. We have a couple of Mech Marines already on station and trying to secure the early aggression, trying to halt the expansion efforts of Terrari, but he's moving with his commander and has, what's really nice here is he has a Snoop here, so he can see units that are moving in from that eastern side. So he's kind of aware that, oh, there's a Snoop, oh, there's a Mech Marine, oh, there's a whatever inbound. Even though he doesn't have a radar, at least he'll have something of a kind of a rough idea of what's going on. Great placement there by Terrari. And in the middle, we have a nice kind of just snake, kind of an S forming here. Looks like a tangent wave in the middle. I think that's a reverse. Is that negative tangent? I think that's I think that's regular tangent. Anyway, nice line of mexes for our players to grab. We have Knocked in the middle here with Auto Noob. We do have Triath coming to, looks like, assist his teammate of Terrari in the west. And the column of Wounded Elk Noob isn't moving forward, which is, going to put Team 1 at a slight disadvantage here, either on the west side of things or the east side of things. It does look like it's going to be more of a 1v1 in the southeast and a 2v1 here in the northwest and a 1v1 in the middle. There are a couple of pawns for players to hide comms and units in, but I wouldn't be surprised if they... I mean, maybe we'll see maybe, I mean, there's maybe a T2 facility for some cruisers, maybe, but highly unlikely considering it's only... You know, if the water was bigger, they would use it more, but it's not, so... Not really going, you know, in the naval game here in this game. So if you don't like naval combat, this match probably doesn't feature any. So there you go. We do see comm-on-comm action here in the north between Zeratul and Terrari. Terrari going full bore into Zeratul. He is outnumbered 8 or 9 to 1, at least at this point. He only has a couple of strikers running around the map here on this northern side. There is a Team 1 bomber coming in overhead. Terrari going... Oh, I'll scoop that T1 Mechs up. Why not? I'm just chasing you down because, you know, that's 2 mass a second. I'll take that extra 2 mass a second. 200 versus 200 here so far in this game at 6 minutes. We do have units coming in from the teammate of Autonuke to kind of just poke and prod at Bloodier on this eastern side and also assist with defensive and offensive maneuvers for Pink Fluffy Noob. I would love to see these units transferred over to Pink Fluffy, but again, something is better than nothing. Of course, Bomber, not Bomber, but Bomber. Yeah, cannot say that. My brain's like, it's pronounced Bomber, but you're saying it weird. Anyway, we have a retreat here on the western side. Obviously, it's a 2v1 scenario. Gun does start. That kind of figured that was going to be happening sooner rather than later because of that discrepancy in firepower between the two teams. We do have a nice splitting move attack here in this northwest section. We have units coming in around this side and around this side going after the ply lines in the east and other T1 Mechs in the north, trying to just annoy Team 1's player of Zeratul. And Gun does get started hit for Terrari. He's actually paused it for now, probably waiting for some engineers to assist, and then starts to activate that upgrade. Probably was waiting for a couple of mass is probably what the situation was. Still, Wounded Elk Noob not moving in to assist any of the front lines. Team 1's Noct has been able to at least secure somewhat of the middle, but he has a huge issue with it's such a wide range of map that he has to manage essentially by himself. There is some assistance from his teammate, but a lot of these units are actually spilling in from Autonoob into the east. He wants to move all the way to the east and trying to cut off the retreat here for Bloodier. So Bloodier, again, he is the highest ranked player in the game. Has to be very cautious of that because if he pushes way too far, that might be his death. Both gun upgrades going down for both these players in the east and a gun upgrade in the middle for Autonoob. So everyone getting gun. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players essentially at the same time going at gun. Now we're going T2 for UEF of Zeratul. That, of course, he's UEF. That does make sense. He could go for Nano. He probably should go Nano just due to the fact that he will be fighting with this comm more than, let's say Terrari or Trith, just because there's 2v1. They can sub each other out when one takes a lot of hits. But, this will give him a bump in hit points as well. So it's not a total loss in terms of comm-on-comm action, but it's more about getting a nice defensive base up and running. But unfortunately, that comm of Terrari is bearing it down on him. And that upgrade does finish, does get him an extra 2,000 hit points. He'll start establishing some T2 PD. He'll leave to try to throw not Zeratul, as Terrari. He's Zeratul. And that PD wants to be finished, but Terrari notices it, or at least, he does see it, so he's going to try to go for it, and he will, to try to just remove that hindrance, and he's now establishing his own T2 point defense, these triads back here, as a fallback point. Then he's saying, hey, Zeratul, come after the comm, and Trith goes, I'm going to come in and intercept a lot of those shots. Zeratul is really struggling here. Terrari was and is dropping below 4,000 hit points, almost 3,000, but Zeratul is going to drop and be the first player eliminated. Terrari at 1,500 left on that comm. That was very close. Could have been a murder-suicide situation in the northwest, but the combined efforts from both Trith and Terrari, Trith being used as a bullet sponge and meat shield hit for his teammate, was able to save his life, and is now a 4v3 scenario here in favor of Team 2. And in the east, Bloodier is running down the comm of Pink Fluffy Noob. Pink Fluffy Noob needs to get out of there sooner than later. T2 pillars are nearby for Blood Air as well, and they're gonna just rush in. They do not care. They're gonna go full bore, send it. This comm needs to get out of there sooner or later. These units, I think, will just keep on moving. There is a pincering sort of ambush attack to the west coming out from Auto Noob to try to just, again, pull the units back and save the comm of Pink Fluffy Noob. But Pink Fluffy Noob's units are almost depleted, and he's moving back in. That's not the best idea in this scenario, considering, yeah, these units were able to pull some attention, but not all of it. And there are a lot of units now bearing down directly in front of Pink Fluffy, and a couple of pillars running into the comm directly. Pink Fluffy is below 3,000 hit points. Blood Air, you want the kill, now is the time. That pillar does get destroyed. Overcharge takes another couple hundred hit points off that comm. Sub at 2,000. Actually, a Triad is in range and was taking out one of those pillars. And 300, 100, but gets a rank eventually. Doesn't matter because it's based on percentage hit points left, and there it goes. Pink Fluffy Noob is defeated by Blood Air almost a minute after his teammate was destroyed, and is now a 3v3. Rust got me. It says Pink Fluffy Noob. Don't know if that's in reference to something. Maybe just saying he's rusty in terms of it's been a while since he's played, probably. But now they traded. Team 1 traded an 1,800 for a 2,000. They would take that trade every day of the week. The only issue is there's now 2 comms on this western side, and they've almost completely taken over that section of the map. They need to do something about that sooner rather than later, because that's going to be very, very dangerous to have all of these mexes under the control of one player, that being Terrari. The air player of Trith is just kind of just fine with just ecoing up and just hanging out, you know, not really needing extra mexes. He's more focused, of course, on that T3 air. Same goes for the air player of Wounded Elk Noob. Both have T3 air, sub 12 minutes, actually sub 11 and a half to be fair. And now those units in the east here for Blood Air are just going to keep pushing against Terrari's now co-opted units. Well, they have to go to somebody, or they just get control K'd. So a couple of PD isn't really going to stop the comm of Blood Air, and he's establishing frontline positions constantly. Kind of interesting that he would spend the mass versus just capture the facility, but it's probably just faster, I guess. This one was, I think, T2. Yeah, this one was T2, so he could have just grabbed that. That would have been probably a nice thing to do, but decides, nah, it's fine. He can build his own and just scoop up the mass for something else. And look at this. We can see again a yin-yang of, you know, one side falls, but the other side conquers kind of thing. I was ahead of Zera2. Easy, please, Kappa. Don't know what the last sentence. Easy. Oh, easy peasy. Oh, okay. More PD, says Trith. Yeah, more PD is definitely needed, especially in the middle. But we have T2 Blazes hunting the comm of Auto Noob, and Noct has gun speed and advanced range, and Auto Noob cannot move. And this is going to be a second kill here for Team 1 here at 13 minutes in this game. There he goes. He is gone. It's now a 3v2 in favor of Team 2. And they have now traded the lead with Team 2. They used to be behind with the expenditure or the loss of Zera2, and now they've taken out 2 players within a couple of minutes of each other. So 3 players dead within 4 or so minutes. This game lasts, you know, a little bit under an hour, so we still got a long ways to go, but with almost half the players already dead, it's going to be an uphill battle for both of these teams if they want to claim a victory. But of course, the departure of Auto Noob does mean that Terrari inherits his base as well, and that supercharges his eco. He's at 260 versus his teammate of Trith at 163. I'm assuming he probably got some mexes in that or trade-off, saying, okay, I got 2-3 bases now, I can probably give you some. And it does look like core mass back here, because this used to be, no, that's not core mass for anybody. It throws me off because the front line, let's see, this is actually the main base here for Blood Air, so that would be here. Yeah, that is weird. Used to the main bases being back here. Well, actually, no, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, doesn't matter at this point. But we have T3 units on the field for both teams. We see those loyalists on the front lines here for Terrari. He's producing Percy's out of this one, and he's producing bricks out of this one. They're going for those higher value units in terms of those, you know, a lot of DPS and, you know, a lot of firepower, you know, the Percy versus the Brick. I keep saying, you know, I don't know why I keep saying, you know. Some players don't know. Keep hitting that thing on my desk. There's like an L-shaped thing I can hook to my desk that could fit a computer, but my computer's actually too thick. It's too wide and it won't fit in the little section, a little kind of J-shaped hook that you can attach to the desk. Once in a while I kick it by accident. I should just take them off my desk, but I haven't, and I probably should do that. I fear that my mic picks it up, so sometimes, if you hear that like clanging noise, that's what that is. And if you don't hear it, great, and I'm just worrying about nothing, which is sometimes par for the course. But anyway, we have Titans on the front line shooing away these loyalists and other units. Great choice of units here for Blood Air. Fast moving, they fire very quickly. They don't have a lot of hit points, but they can regen some in the form of shields, so that's always nice. Don't know what that was about anyway. But the units to the north, again here, we have a couple of Percys coming after the column of Noct. Noct is having to retreat sub essentially 50% of his hit points. Not great here. He has arms, which are, they have those shields, so 1,000 hit points plus 3,600 hit points versus the non-shielded 7,200. So double the hit points, essentially the, not core hit points, what would you call those? The non-regenerative kind versus the regenerative kind of the Titans and the Harbingers, the 1,000 shields and the 700 shields. And these guys get 30 hit points a second for the shield. These get 20. Of course, Veteranry does mess with the totals, of course, because you get 10% additional hit points and you get to regen hit points and all of that goodness. But in the north, it doesn't look like Ferrari's going to push quite heavily. His comm is very far forward, and it needs to watch out for that, because Team 1 could come in with some strap bombers or gunships or something and just run that comm over. There's not really a lot of forces nearby to respond. If Team 1 knew about that, they probably would push it. They don't know about it. They're getting a spy plane overhead for now. Team 2 didn't know the location of either comm. They don't know about the comm down here. Does look like there's a radar situation that needs to be remedied. This one could go T2. This one should go T2. And there should be at least another T2 up here, or at least on that upper ridge, at least, to kind of keep it a little bit protected. But a large group of units in the middle starting to coagulate, to use a blood term. Starting to push, more and more eastward. There's a couple of sniper bots starting to be added to the ranks here for Noct's front line. Sniper bots, of course, are weak, but they do have a long range on them. They can shoot a great distance, to be fair. But with only 500 hit points on those chassis, it's essentially 1 or 2 shots, and they are DED. The Harbinger's trying to protect the evacuation of those sniper bots, but they fall back, some of them under shield coverage. Those shields actually should be moved to protect the Harbingers, to be fair. But there are some Titans coming to try to just poke and prod on these Percys here in the middle. There's a couple of loyalists, so that army has really fused together, and we do see a nice outstretching of Blood here on this middle section of the map, trying to just slowly chip away at eco, slowly chip away on front lines. We of course see Blood Air moving forward. He has the shield in his commander, so 19,000 hit points, has actually lost a lot of it, so he's taken some damage there. But we have Bricks and Percys. I love that mix of units. Even though Bricks have only 300 hit points more than the Percy does high alpha damage, and these guys do very consistent, very fast damage, very similar to the Titans. You get a mix of, rapid fire, taking out T1, T2 units, and then high-powered shots for T3 and T4 units. Love the mix. We have some, these aren't demolishers. That is a demolisher. These are spearheads. Blooder has some T3 units being pumped out in this facility. He's producing his own Percys, but these missiles, they pump out a lot of missiles very quickly, but these units can, dodge them very easily. T3 Ravager is online as well. They're really designed to deal with, very slow-moving targets like Colossus, like monkeys, like stuff like... I mean, the monkey's a little quick for its T4-ness, but they're really designed for slow-moving targets. These units can actually dodge Ravagers. Not super easy, but, again, a lot better than a T4 unit. But we have now reinforcements coming in from the east and the southeast. And, of course, facilities pumping out units as well. But this Percy comes in, takes out one of those spearheads. There's only a Titan nearby. That thing gets shot out of the ground very quickly. by that comm. The comm is at 5 stars. 10,000 mass has already been killed even before the 20-minute mark. Comm of Terrari only has 4,000 mass killed, but there's a strap bomber over the top. Where is it going to land? Going to take out a T2 Mechs and a Volcano. And that one was fully ringed too, so that's got to hurt. That's 9 eco gone. This thing can go on some assassination missions, but it's going to stay with the Air Force for now. And it's going to go after that front line. Is it going to go for the shield? It does. Impacts the shield. Takes out most of its capacity, but not a whole lot. So those units will stay alive for now. Bloody was able to shove that attack back and is eyeing for this position. Once this position falls, Team 2 doesn't really have a lot of defenses besides their units that they're constantly pumping out of those facilities. And he's grouping up a nice mix of units. He has some shields. He has some throwaway units in terms of Lobos and whatnot. We have some skyboxes in for anti-gunship moves. Love to see that, taking out those gunships. And we have a couple of strikers too. So a good mix of units for the UEF. Let's go ahead. Of course, he is a 2600. He does know what he's doing. You know, he's a 2600. Of course, he's going to know what he's doing. Let's see. Is there anything special going on? I don't think so, except that one strap bomber, which I guess was shot down at some point. Because I don't see it. It could have been falling back, but in the mess of all the gray triangles, I don't see it. Anyway, if you like the cast so far, please like and comment down below. Who do you think is going to currently win? Just to remind you, Team 2 is at 700. It's 800. Let's just say 800 mass per second versus the 830 of Team 1. They're down 2 players. Team 1 is down 1 player. There's that strap bomber. And it's essentially 50-50. It's more like maybe 55% for Team 2, 45% for Team 1, but that can change very quickly. And again, hit that sub button if you haven't done so already. And yeah, share this video with your dog, your cat, your friends, your mom, your dad, your brother from another mother, your sister from another woman, another mother. Whatever the case may be, share this video with anybody that would be interested in either FAF or other strategy combat games, because I love this type of RTS game. That doesn't mean, just because I love it doesn't mean I'm super good at it. But I've been able to play a lot of games because of the holidays and traveling and whatnot, but I will have a cast of myself playing one of the most notorious maps of all time, not Setons, so that'll be a clue on what map I'm playing on. And you guys can critique my effectiveness in naval combat in that game. Oh, on that map specifically. But anyway, we have a large army in the middle. Team 1 does not have an army comparable to it. Maybe if they... a lot of the engineers are throwing my math off, but that's a lot of Harbingers. There are some Percys in this mix. Of course, the bricks. There actually are no bricks. It's only Percys. Lots of shields, too. So, kind of interesting not to see any bricks in that mix. Even though I thought I saw some being built somewhere. Well, there's some over here. They're just hiding under the water with these Percys. Well, it's not a bad strategy. Missiles constantly raining in Orb-Letter against this frontline position. Team 2's Terrari is kind of struggling to keep those missiles at bay. Of course, they need to take out those shields, and then, of course, those TMD. And once those TMD are down, it's just full send it in. Shields are being spammed up as they should be, but one facility is down, one emitter is down. Second one will fall. Oh, no, it won't get online, so that's another 9,000 hit points that are going to be able to be dissuaded for now. Team 1's Blooder needs to have some sort of more, permanent damage in terms of some demolishers. The missiles are great, of course. They pump out so much firepower, but he's building a couple of clink hammers back here as well. That does assist with that firepower, of course. I would like to see a couple more demolishers. I think it's just mostly spearheads. I do see one. There's another demolisher. That one actually has some veterancy on it. But Percys do get pretty close, and unfortunately there is a couple of, Ravager nearby. But Team 2's Terrari trying to pump out those T2 shields to, again, kind of have some barrier. But of course he has 19,000 hit points and 19,000 shield hit points and 20,000 hit points. Almost 40,000 hit points on that comp. But the units pop out of the water here as a nice surprise attack. Those frontline shields are down. Percys are charging this position. I guess they don't care about the bricks and the Percys to the north. Blooder goes, that's a lot of units. He's going to fall back a little bit. Those TMD are not down. Some of them do fall, though. The artillery needs to come in and target these specifically. Strap bomber over the top. does target one of those frontline Percys, they'll know about that strap bomber, and it's already severely wounded, so isn't really a good idea to throw it at Blood Air right now. Army in the middle, kind of just hanging tight, shooting pot shots at one another, and in the north there is a nice kind of expeditionary force to kind of take out T1 and T2 mechs here on this northwestern side. So just again eliminating the eco slowly but surely on that side. The Team D is holding strong, but the Ravagers are targeting the shields first. Of course, that's again the best play. Take out the shields and then take out the defenses underneath them. We are seeing those bricks and Percys pop out of the water once again. A nice little cinematic shot of the Percys. A lot of them aren't in range and are even underwater, and so they're not firing. There's more units coming in from the western sides here for Team 2. And Blooder is constantly pushing. There's his comm. He's taking lots of fire. His shield is still online given the glow around his commander. But the facility has been taken out as well. And those Percys and other units are just running. They just don't care. They're just going to full send it into those units for Team 2. And a lot of them will be depleted, which you can kind of tell. It's harder to tell with the coloring for some of them which ones are which, but of course with the purple it is very prominent. So those bricks and Percys will fall back. Missiles are raining in. Lots of mass for either team to scoop up. Team 2's Blood Air wants, or Team 1's Blood Air wants that mass. There is a Ravager here. Then just the look at this. Look at the shield creep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shields just in a line. That's a lot of defensive positions to fall back to. Lots of hit points that can be dissuaded. But there's an Awasher bomber incoming, and that is not good for Blood Air's health. Pings go down saying, hey, there's a comm there. Blood Air goes, oh, that's a bomb. Oh, that's on my face. Oh, I need to get out of here. Oh, let's go. Trite Air says, let's go. Airfight ensues nearby. That player of Blood Air, those ASFs want that bomber dead sooner rather than later, and that thing might get a veterancy here pretty soon. Most of that land army was demolished. Blood Air under severe pressure to get the heck out of there. He's at 10,000 hit points. That veterancy coming in handy as we speak. Team 2 gets air dominance, not just control, but air dominance with an Awasha to show for it. That is a lot of firepower. Shields are being able to hold back most of that, but they are falling as time goes on. He needs to get out of there sooner rather than later. There is a Ravager still online, but it's not going to do a whole lot. And a lot of those shields have been able to save Blood Air from those bombers, or from that bomb from the bomber. The bombs from the bomber. There we go. There's my little words with whatnot. But there goes the bomb. Kaboom! Takes out the shields and takes stuff underneath it. Love to see it. I love the explosiveness of this awesome T4 unit from the Seraphim. Very, very great. Some people like the new mechanic for the bomber, like when it lands. Some don't. But I really like it. I think it really makes it more ostentatious. It gives it a nice effect to you. Just get a nice kaboom, and it even shakes the screen a little bit. It's great to watch. That bomber, again, is severely wounded. Still has one veterancy, but increased hit point regen. And there is a crab, so Team 2's Terrari skipping the monkey phase. With these forces, I'm sorry to say it, most of them are gone. Yep, there they go. And severely wounded at that. Look at this. Hardly any hit points left on them. And that's Awasher at 8,000. It's going to charge to the north. Don't know where it's going over there. It's going to go back to base, it looks like. The best thing to do would be to control K and funnel it into a new one that's currently being built. And not just drop mass on your opponent. Of course, that takes time to build a new one, but at least you have the mass for it. So all you really have to do is spend the time, which with build power can easily be mitigated. Not easily, but kind of mitigated. Nice group of units here to the north get easily wiped out. There they go. They're trying to get out of dodge, and they are all gone. That thing's at 45,000 mass killed. Still will not beat that 500,000 one I saw not a while. That seems like a long time ago. It isn't. Like in October or something. But that cast where one Awasher bomber got 500,000 mass killed. It was so much mass on that map. That was a very good game, but that bomber just annihilated everything in its path and wouldn't die either, so that also helped. Of course, that thing is still alive and it's repping up pretty quickly. 15 hit points a second is nothing to scoff at, and the column of Blood Air is now building a Fatboy very, very far forward, and is building some SAM coverage as well to assist in just shoving that experimental bomber away. But this thing is just going to run into the front lines somewhere else and just take out whatever he can. Another unit's going down, Mechs is going down, that sort of thing. So Team 1 needs a response, and they're able to get a lot more ASF on the field. But Team 2 is also pumping out their own. This one is almost done, going up very quickly. It's at, what is that, 70... No, I was going to say 78, but 80%. That's going to finish here pretty soon. 2 bombers online. That's not great for Team 1. And there it goes. There's a nice group of units here as well. How many end up surviving? I would assume not a lot. No, not a lot. Most of those were wiped out. A couple of Percys left standing, but that is it. Oof is what I have to say. That is oof. That's gotta hurt. And is it going to go in for another attack and wipe those out? Yes, it will. It'll go to 61,000 mass kill. This will up it to probably 64, 67. Decent amount of mass still. Those ASFs are on its heels, but it doesn't get there fast enough, and so wasn't able to take it out. That crab is just slowly moving northward, slowly moving eastward. There is a Fatboy online. Only one's not a super big issue is when you get 4 or 5 of them where you're like, nah, I'm not going to move forward. There's another one up here, so that's 2. And we have a nice puncturing attack to the west, taking out outlying T3 Mechs. These are Percys, so again, high alpha damage on these things. There's some Percys in defense. They're targeting SAM sites. SAM sites are fine. I'd focus more on eco at this point, but again, something's better than nothing at this point for either team. How's that Outwasher doing? It goes in for another attack. This one is actually the new one. That one gets eradicated instantly. This one back here is the one that's, done most of the damage. Bomb does go off. That crab is inbound for that Fatboy. And where did the comm go? The comm has left. It's gone way away. Does not want to be nearby this catastrophe, but this onslaught. Bomb does land on top of it, takes out everything in that bomb's radius, and now it's just a clear path for that comm. I think the comm of Blood Air is going straight for the water. Yep, going straight for the water. The best idea, get out of range, get out of vicinity of that bomber. Pings do go down against Blood Air. He has his full shield and full hit points, being chased by a crab. That bomber not going to target the comm. Very interesting, going after the facilities being pumping out units. But, taking out production is always a good idea, of course. Oh, it just hurts. It just hurts to watch that bomb go off and just shake the screen. You're like, oh. And every time a bomb lands, I watch. I don't cringe. It's just, you can just feel it in your chest. You're just like, oh, that just hurt. Let's see. Lands, takes out 1,100 hit points, and then the center bomb takes out another. So total takes out 11,000. Wasn't in the direct center of it, but takes out a huge chunk of that shield. Second bomb goes off, same kind of thing, down to 8,000. Takes out the full shield, and now still in the green, 60 hit points a second on his commander. He does have nano, so that 80 hit points. So will help with the regen factor. But ASFs do come in from Team 1's airplay of Wounded Elk. Bomb goes off once again. What will they drop him to in the yellow, sub 8,000? And those ASFs are swiftly dealt with. They cannot seem to get a lock on that bomber, and we'll get another bomb dropped off on these skyboxers. Is that flak enough? No, it's not. 9,000 hit points and getting 150 a second. ASFs are getting in behind it, and it gets shot off screen, so neither team ends up getting that mass. Unfortunately, even if it did land, Team 2 is essentially in full control of this corner, so it doesn't even matter. I told you to ground fire through air says, or through water says try. He's talking about the bomber, maybe? I don't know what he was talking about there. We do have a couple of we have one torp bomber back here. We have another couple of them inbound, so they're going to go after that combo. Blood Air. Blood Air is just like, nope, I'm not going to stay here, because if I stay here, I'm going to get bombed out of existence, so he's going to get out of dodge. So all of that mass being funneled into bombers or T2 torps that can't fire onto land units will be useless here in this case. So great tactical move. Waits just a couple of seconds, just enough to just say, hey, you should go for some bombers. And then says, no, I'm just not going to stay there anyways. That place was pretty deep, to be fair, and just walking along the path there. hanging out. 33 minutes in this game. Still got another 20 or so left in the match. So again, it could go either way. Team 2 has claimed again the northwest corner of the map and has almost claimed the southeastern one as well. We have somewhat of a defensive position here in the middle, but not a lot of PD still online. T2 and T3 varieties. I don't think this crab is going to die with just a little bit of PD left standing. And there's a second crab as well. Did that crab in the middle die? The Fatboy did. Maybe that crab came to help out its elder brother in the west, or younger brother, depending on how you look at it. We have one T2 artillery at Klinghammer still online, but doesn't really get much of anything done. ASF's guarding these experimentals, and that comm is still going by. Is the Sam creep already in our base? Says Pink Fluffy Noob. What the heck? What are you talking? What? Built some Sams. Never mind. Says Auto Noob. Don't know what that's talking about. Anyway, we do have a lot of Sam sites here in the north for Noct. We have 15 of those UEF variety, and we have 21, so 30-something. Not a terrible amount. Needs, at least a couple more dozen, just to be sure. Transport tried to pick up the comm and goes, nope, too close. ASFs are too close. These spy planes are circling around the comm, making sure that if a transport does come by, they can take it out immediately. It looks like there was another attempt to transport. It was denied. The last thing Blood Air wants to do is die by transport. That would suck. Well, die by transport crash, essentially. But the comms, while they are running, the crabs are moving. They're moving north. Defenses are very lax here. There's some, but not a lot. We have some T1 energy storages. Takes out a shield and half the hit points on that P-Gen. That second... Oh, there it goes. Takes all those energy storages out. That's got to hurt. Another P-Gen down. Takes out a couple of Ravagers, and this front line is being destroyed. Harbingers have been brought in to assist the evacuation of that comm. T2 transport going south. Don't know where it's going. Just maybe was should have been transferred over sooner rather than later. But that comm will probably make it out of Dodge. I heard another Awasher somewhere. Strat bombers are inbound, and they're going straight for that comm, but a lot of them have been shot down before they can reach their targets. Blood Air goes, I gotta get out of here. Oh, takes a couple of them to the face. The shield regens fully, so he has a lot more hit points to play with. And a lot of these units in the east are dealt with, but these two crabs are still charging with their brick support, and it's not looking good for Team 1 on this southeastern side. And Awasher Bomber does not assist with that as well. ASF's nearby to protect it, but a lot of AA. It's taking a lot of hit points. There goes those 5-6 Sams. 80,000 mass used to kill Blood Air, and he is still full HP, says Pink Nuke. Yeah, that's a lot of mass just to kill Blood Air, and he is still alive. Again, he still has a shield, so not low mass. Oh, sorry, low HP, just low HP on the shield. Fatboy moved probably a little bit too close, and it will be killed for its ignorance and its misstep. We do have Fatboys on this front line as well, trying to hold back this force coming in from the west as well. Another crab. Report my team, says Blood Air. Maybe he's thinking that his team is throwing on purpose. I don't think they are. I feel like Team 1's air player should be pumping up more gunships, and as I say that, he has some gunships. We do see in the west just a lot of these units are being dealt with. A lot of them are T1, some of them are T3 bricks, but I don't see a lot of T2. So I would like to maybe see some Rhinos or something, but T1 Medusa are better than nothing. But that Awasher does get killed off by some of that, just side firing from those ASFs from Team 1, but they're going to get in a nice entanglement, and even still Team 2 retains control of... there is some AA missiles coming off of those restorers, of course. There's more restorers back here, so... if there's a nice engagement here, maybe this will be air control for once for Team 1. They're going to engage, and will it be enough? Restorers are brought in to assist as well with those, rapid fire missile launchers, and I think this is an air control win for Team 1. I think it's actually an air dominance too. Well, they do have an Awasher to be fair, but I saw it. Yep, there is a scath that's being built here. 37 minutes in this game, probably was like 34 or something. Crab gets taken up by Restore Fire. That's gotta hurt, because Restorers are not great at air to ground weaponry. Huge air grid being built here by Wounded Elk Noob. Needs to get more shielding. Has some tower defense in place, but needs probably at least one more right here, one more here, and one more here at the minimum. And I feel like Blood Air should donate some UEF tech and just build those UEF shields, because those would be way better than the Aeon tech that they have. So that's probably the way that they should go with that. But anyway, lots of restorers, and he is pumping those out. He's at 40 of them already. He's going to just throw them wherever he can, which these are actually very good at dealing with T1 units. It doesn't take a lot of hit points to deal with it. They're going to go straight for that crab, though. Just ignore all these T1 units, because why bother? It's going to take them a while to get to the front line, and the Fatboys will deal with them anyways. And there goes that Megalith. Sub 90,000 hit points, sub 80. That thing's just going to slowly fall. ASF response is going to be slow because there really is no ASFs for Team 2. And so that crab will die. Apologies to that crab who just wanted to live its best life. We do have some Perseus in the water in the west, though, gearing up for some sort of ambush from the water once again, kind of like their brethren did in the south. And our washer in the south as well. So Team 2 pumping out experimentals, pumping out T3 units, pumping out a lot of stuff, but they've lost their air. They do have some sort of ASF force once again, but it's not a lot. A large string of T1 units and a crab as well. But again, as long as you keep the Titans moving, as long as you keep the Restorers moving, you're going to deal with these T1 units very quickly. For T1 units, they only have 200 health on them each. There's Medusa. Well, there's Lobos here, and I think there's Medusa over here. Or at least there were until they all died. There are more Strat Bombers, and they're going to go straight for Fatboys, I think. I'll watch they're going to assist with dealing with that as well. Takes out some of those shield hit points, and it's actually punctured the shield as well. And there goes that first Fatboy. It is down and out of the fight. A couple of those Strat Bombers are taken up, but one of them is better than none of them. Team 1 needs to secure this frontline reclaim. These Fatboy producing facilities, the mobile factories, need to be pumping out engineers to just pump out reclaim, or pump in reclaim. Because, you know, that's a decent 5,000 mass plus an additional another 5,000 mass plus an additional 18, 14, 15. A lot of mass currently on the field, and I can tell you how much there is. There is 294,000 mass. There it goes. I don't know why the numbers weren't appearing. And most of it is sitting in Team 1's territory. There is some in the middle, but a lot of it sitting in Team 1's territory. And the purge in the north is occurring. Lots of T2 skyboxes just trying to take out those restorers because they like to sit in clumps, of course, but they need to keep moving. T3 mexes are going down as quickly as they've been brought up. Will they get this one? No, they won't. Will they turn around? No, they won't. Where the Sat Knock thought it was your signature move, says Pink Fluffy Noob, and I can assure you, Pink Fluffy Noob, that that thing is almost done, and he's building a Duke right next to it. Stop building everything next to each other. Bugs the crap out of me. Why? You're saying, hey, there's this high-value target. We'll put another high-value target next to it to make it even more enticing to shoot at. Because why not? I get trying to conserve mass and energy with overlapping shield. I get that, trust me, but still, why? You know, there are some great screenshots I have of, like, there's a Mavor and a Nuke and an artillery, and there's one match I can think of off the top of my head that all of that died because it was all right next to each other. And it was because of a Nuke, because he didn't have an SMD. If you've watched that video, you know which video I'm talking about. Yeah, it was stop putting stuff right next to each other. Unless it's artillery, a little different. But especially if it's Novak's next to artillery, just don't do that. And don't put your T3 air headquarters next to a Nuke Eliminator, next to a Duke, next to a Novak's, next to a T3 land headquarters. Why? There are emissaries being built. Does Team 1 know about the Scathis, though? No. No. They can kind of see it. If they hover over it, they can see it. So they can tell there's a bunch of build power here. They can easily go, oh, that's it. But there is a defense satellite coming in range. So if they haven't seen it now, they're going to see it in a minute. And that Scathis is in the green. It is wow, that thing is sailing. It's about, shoot, 100 hit points every 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 about 4 or 5 sec. Well, at least 4 or 5 seconds for our speed. That is very quick, and there's an SMD nearby, so lots of firepower coming off of Team 2. Satellite was targeting some P-gens. Of course, there are some some shields being built to cover this additional air facility, but would have probably gone after the main one, to be fair. But it does look like Awasher Bomber goes straight for the air grid, takes out a huge chunk of it, lands, takes out a huge amount of PD and another facility. That's a lot of air facilities that are just gone. Didn't have the shields online in time. See, I mentioned it. Should have had those UEF shields. Should have had more shields. Get wrecked. Wait, who said that? Oh, Fluffy Noob says get wrecked. Oh, sorry, I think Fluffy Noob says that. Like, yeah, and here comes that Scathis fire raining into an unshielded air grid. That is, oh no, there goes another section of it. Ouch. And I think the T3 air headquarters is gone as well. No, it's right here. Okay, it's severely wounded, but it's still there. And that Novax is online. Same with the Duke, and that Duke is firing back. But one Duke versus one Scathis is only going to go one way, essentially. I think the Duke is focusing on the air grid, it looks like. Let's see. This trajectory will definitely... Yep, it's focusing on the air grid. That's going to impact the shield. Does impact nearby an air facility as well. But you want to take out the P-gens for that cascade explosions, of course, because, you can shoot one thing and kill 10 things versus shoot 10 things. And it takes you more time. But we have 4 Fatboys on that front line versus 2 for Team 2's front line. Terrari, sizing up his opponent, saying, hey, you should come in with your Fatboys and I'll come with my Fatboys and we'll have it out like gentlemen. Gonna get a nice cinematic shot of these Fatboys. There's some, I'm thinking of what would you do for a Klondike bar. But what would you do for a Fat Boy? It doesn't work the same for some reason. Lots of shields protecting the Fat Boys as well with additional bodyguard support. But those Fat Boys move in, and they're going to target that front line, and they're going to start whittling away the hit points on those Fat Boy shields. And then after that, the actual Fat Boy hit points themselves. Both of the comms left standing for Team 2 are in the water. I am kind of surprised that no one's built a nuke yet. I don't see the symbol for it anywhere. Of course, I see SMD symbols, but none of the missile, the offensive variety. Scathis firing on the Duke and Novax and SMD. As I mentioned, there's really no nukes, but this one has 2 loaded, so was it 1D? Now imagine being dead since 10 minutes. Woundy. It says Terrari's better than Blood Air. Again, just because you're a lower rank and you're doing better than a higher rank doesn't necessarily mean you're better than one. I can't beat Terrari. I mean, somebody can have an off day. It could be 1 o'clock at night, a.m., and you're just dead to the world, and you have a bunch of subcom brain when he has moral support of his team. Only need 2 Awashers and 3 bases. Oh, is that what they need? I think that's what they need. And maybe Blooder's... I don't know what Blooder's talking about with the whole his team isn't doing anything. That's the most support I gave Trith, like half my upgraded mechs is GG. And that's perfectly a good thing to do because you inherited 3 bases essentially, and you gave like half the mechs away. So you split the resources, not even, but pretty close to even. And those Fat Boys for Team 2 are retreating. A heck of a lot of engineers are now scooping up that Fat Boy wreck, and they're dying by the tens. Oh, the humanity. Oh, sorry. Oh, the drone humanity. Oh, no. No. Those engineers are suffering, and a couple of gunships come in and just get wrecked. Don't know why they ran into that air fight. But Team 2 has the air superiority numbers in terms of ASFs, and they are being chewed up by Team 1. Look at this nice, solid grouping here. They, of course, have the restorers shooting off every missile they can and constantly loading, unloading as fast as they can. And it looks like it's going to be essentially a draw for the most part. I think Team 2 will come out just a little bit ahead. But the Restorers do add a nice buff to those air forces for Team 1. And Team 2 does come out ahead, but not by a lot. Crab does fall in the east as well. Just a horde of Lobos running around the map on the eastern side. Decent army to the west, poking through those holes in the wall. You need to shore up your walls there in the north there, Knock. You can't let anybody walk on through or jump on through or swim on through, whatever the case may be. Wounded Elk did get severely wounded, of course, by that Awasher, and then just driven into the game and driven into the ground by the this Air 1-7 Awasher started. Gee, that's a lot of Awashers. 7? How many are still online is the question. Just because you've built 7 doesn't mean that, or you started 7 doesn't mean you've just given a bunch of mass to your opponent. So let's take Reclaim, for example. Team 1 is winning, but not by a lot. 330 versus 370 Reclaim. 1,000, by the way. That's a lot. But Team 1, 640, 650, let's say, versus 1.9, almost 2,000 mass. Almost a 3 times the amount of mass per second coming in for Team 2. And it just shows they have a Scathus online. They're pumping out Awashers. They're pumping out ASF. They're pumping out whatever they can. That Novax is still online for Team 1. They're pumping out literally anything and everything and the kitchen sink to throw at their opponents. And I think Team 2's idea is just bury them in mass, and essentially that's what's happening. Oh, and artillery fire. Bury them in mass and artillery fire. Because eventually they can, they're just going to be drowning in them. Drown both of them. Throw it at them until they can't breathe no more. And now we have Percy's coming into that Duke. They are very close to these P-Gens. It is a very volatile situation. Haha, see what I did there? And no washer, no comeback. Mechanic for you. Can quit. GG. Says Fluffy. Oh, it's talking about you can exfil. You can retreat. Well, look at this destruction from this Awasher bomber. Not Awasher. Well, Awasher bomber and the Scath is just annihilated. Bloodier doesn't care at this point. He will control K. Just says GG. Game is over. 48 minutes in this game, decides that he has done enough. He's essentially lost everything. He's only producing, not getting a lot of mass at this point. Team 2 has now crossed the 2,000 per second mass game, or mass mile mark, I should say. Kappa, we did it auto. We led them to victory, says Big Fluffy Noob. If we would have won without your pings. I love it when players, especially, it doesn't matter what ranking you are, I do see the trend that higher the ranking, the more likely it is to stay. But we do see the calm of Knock saying, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of winning or killing me with Scathus fire, with Beast. And they just go straight after air staging facilities. Locke says, no, I'm not going to let you kill me by strap armor fire. Decides to control K, because he would have died to strap armor fire had he not control K. But those bombers going after air staging facilities, very interesting play there. I mean, what else are you going to do at that point? The line of Ravagers trying to hold off the incoming threat. The column of Wounded Elk Dupe has just said, I'm gone, see you bye. Enemy commander located. That's such like an AI way of saying that, like the enemy commander has been detected. Sensor package has been installed, and I don't know why. He should probably have installed something else. He probably should have gone after, you probably could go after teleporter. It costs a lot of energy and mass though, which he has some mass that has the energy, negative 35,000. He has 21,000. That's a lot of energy to just have for a second. And is he going to die to Scathus fire? This is hilarious. Look at this. I just want to see what that was about. Doesn't take any hits. It looks like it's going to take him a minute to die. This is a nice facility on this little hill here. Lots of artillery, lots of missile launchers. And they're all loaded, or most of them are loaded. Oh, they're launching missiles as we speak. Oh, that's got to hurt. Taking everything out. We can just speed this up. We know which way this is going. I'm going to go to 2 just to see what's going on. Scathus fire raining in on Wounded Elk's position. He's going to pop out of the water. There's some torp launchers being built, and he's going to say, no, I'm not going there. Now Terrari sniped right and take all the credit for this game. Terrari says, okay. And Terrari will leave. Oh no! Hold on. What's going on with this? What is this? What are the? Oh, is he gonna control K them? Danger! Will Robinson! Danger! Danger! Shout out in the comments for those who know what show that is from. Triumph goes no. And before that can happen, it looks like Wounded Elk Noob just says, the game is already over so slow. It just control K's himself. But I think that was the plan, was just control K all of these RAS comms. If you can kill that comm, that would have been very interesting to watch. But it does not happen. Team 2 wins that fight. Everyone was above 1,800 rating, so MUPs are kind of not going to work. And most underrated player of the game award, not really kind of a factor in this game because they're all high rating. But in terms of MVP, let's see. I mean, Terrari did a very good job, eliminated a player early on, fell back, ecoed pretty hard, especially with the demise of 2 other players on his team. Of course, we didn't see all the pings coming out from Big Fluffy, but he was a big component. Of course, he died early as well on this eastern side, and he just sat and went, okay, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue. So, I mean, I talked about yesterday how the MVP was... Oh, shoot, what's his name? I had his name on the tip of my tongue. Sailor Moon was in that game, and he was the MVP. But the one who died early on, he was like, look, there's this thing going on here. Look, this thing going on here. Look. He was the man in the chair, or the Force Ghost, as some people put it. And so I feel like Pink Fluffy Noob, that role, I mean, yeah, you died and you're not actively participating in the game anymore, or at least in terms in like an alive state of the game. But you can still do stuff from beyond the grave. Like, a lot of these matches show that, you have someone that says, hey, I can take some of that mental load off you and say, look, there's an incoming threat. Hey, you should upgrade this mix. Hey, you're producing a lot more units than this other person is. You should probably charge, or, they're weak over here. Or here's an idea. And so just like constantly thinking for your teammate and not having them think is essentially, you're still playing. You're still being an active participant. You're still doing what you can. And that stuff really shows that you can, still be a force for good for your team. So I think, pretty much everybody played. There wasn't really as outstanding play for one player on either team. But the Pink Fluffy Noob, coordination and pinging and notifications and all the stuff that he was doing, I feel like he deserves MVP for this game. Let me know down in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong about that. Hit that sub button, hit the like button, comment down below. And, of course, share that video with anything living or dead. It could be, your grandma is, been cremated and they're sitting on the counter, kind of on the mantle of the fireplace. You can show the match to them, too. Show it to everyone. Just don't pop a wine bottle and have that cork hit the grandma in the vase and have the cat lick up the grandma's ashes. Just don't do that. But anyway, I will see all of you in the next one.